The air reaches your lungs like cold water. It is before dawn, somewhere in the heart of North America, roughly 13,000 years ago. The Ice Age is not over. Ice sheets still press down on the northern continent, and the world stretching before you is open, windswept, and enormous. Cold grassland reaching to a horizon that never quite ends, patches of scrub and frozen mud, a thin line of trees far to the east, and above it all, a sky the color of iron. You are moving, not alone. A small band of men, hunters, moves with you across the frosted ground, their breath rising in white clouds, their footfalls careful and nearly silent. Each of you carries a long wooden spear, tipped with a precisely flaked stone point, bifacially worked, symmetrical, with a distinctive channel ground into its base, so it can be bound tightly to the shaft with sinew and resin. These are Clovis points, and this is the only world their makers have ever known. This is not just the story of prehistoric hunting. This is what it may have felt like to stand at the edge of the most dangerous moment in the life of a Clovis band, a mammoth hunt in the late Pleistocene. The Clovis culture occupied a narrow window of time, roughly 13,050 to 12,750 years before the present, a span of only about 3 centuries. In those 300 years, Clovis people spread across virtually the entire continent, from the Pacific to the Atlantic, from the Canadian interior to Central America. They were highly mobile, moving in small groups, probably measured in the dozens rather than hundreds, carrying their stoneworking knowledge and their memory of the land across vast distances. And at the center of their lives, according to the most compelling interpretation supported by the evidence, was the mammoth. The Columbian mammoth stood 4 meters at the shoulder, taller than a modern 2-story house. It weighed between 4 and 6 metric tons. And somewhere ahead of you now, in the gray light before sunrise, is the sign that tells you one has passed through here recently. A line of enormous oval depressions pressed deep into the soft earth, churned mud at a stream crossing, a swath of grass crushed flat, a smell, heavy and animal and unmistakable, drifting on the wind. Your band spreads out. No one speaks. Movement here is communication. A hand signal, a tilt of the head, a slow crouch that the man beside you mirrors instantly. You have been tracking this animal for hours, possibly longer. Patience is not a strategy here. It is survival. Now the grassland opens ahead, and you see it. The animal is massive, beyond any easy description. A wall of dark reddish-brown hair, a curved arc of ivory tusk, a back like a hillside. It moves slowly, unhurried, and the ground registers the impact of every step. You feel the vibration in your feet before you hear it. Here is the brutal truth about this encounter. Experimental research suggests that a Clovis point thrown from distance may not reliably penetrate the thick hide of a Columbian mammoth. To kill this animal, you cannot stand at a safe distance and throw. The evidence suggests hunters either drove their prey onto heavy planted spears braced against the earth, or they targeted the places where the hide is thinnest and the body most vulnerable: the soft tissue behind the ear, the inner mouth, the underbelly, the eye. To reach those places, you have to get close, terrifyingly, impossibly close. The band moves in from the downwind side, using a shallow rise to mask your approach. The mammoths, there are 2 of them now, can detect human scent from kilometers away. They can charge at speeds approaching 25 kilometers per hour. Every step forward is a calculated act of controlled fear. Then the moment breaks open. What follows is not heroic. It is not clean. It is chaotic, deafening, and brutal. Screaming, dust, the ground shaking beneath a panicked animal weighing more than a bus, tusks sweeping arcs through the air with enough force to kill instantly. Spears drive in. Men scatter and regroup. There is no glory visible from ground level, only terror and resolve, and the desperate physical work of outlasting something immense that wants to live. And then, eventually, the animal goes down. The relief that floods through the band is immediate and animal. But there is no time to simply rest. A single adult Columbian mammoth would have yielded hundreds of kilograms of usable meat, fat, bone, ivory, hide, and sinew, material that could transform the fortunes of a small group for weeks. The butchery begins with stone knives and scrapers. At sites like Murray Springs in Arizona, archaeologists have found exactly this scene preserved in sediment. Clovis tools, mammoth bones with cut marks, the dense debris of extended processing sessions. Not scavenging. Organized, skilled, communal labor. Isotopic analysis of the only known Clovis-associated human burial, the Anzac I child from Montana, interred with over 100 ochre-stained stone tools, shows a diet in which mammoth may have constituted between 35 and 40% of what Western Clovis people ate. This was not an occasional encounter. This was a way of life, built around the largest animals on the continent. Scholars continue to debate how exclusively Clovis people depended on megafauna. Regional variation almost certainly existed. Eastern populations may have drawn on more diverse food sources. What is not in dispute is the scale of what these hunters were capable of, their technological precision, their ecological knowledge, their physical courage. The Clovis tradition endured for roughly 300 years. Then it gave way to successor cultures, and the mammoths were gone. At a site called Murray Springs, geologists identified a thin, dark layer in the sediment that archaeologists call the black mat. Below that layer, mammoth bones and Clovis points. Above it, neither. Within the span of a few human generations, the entire world these hunters had known, the herds, the hunt, the landscape that made them who they were, simply ceased to exist. History remembers outcomes, but history is also the cold air in the lungs at first light, the weight of a spear in a cold hand, and the silence of a band moving carefully across an open world that they understood more deeply than we can easily imagine. They were not myths. They were people, and they stood very close to the largest animals that ever walked this continent, and did not look away.